What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Ramon. Welcome back to the channel. Here we talk about any and everything photography. This episode of AMA, as you guys may already know, any questions you have, you leave it in the comment section down below. I will answer it in upcoming videos. This is a very interesting question. How ethical and or appropriate is it to use Lightroom to amp up photographs? To what level or extent? I'm curious why you say Lightroom and not Photoshop. Usually when you hear things about image editing and doctoring, it's usually in the Photoshop world. But I guess Lightroom's catching on with a lot more people. So this very interesting question indeed, and I think it sort of depends what genre or professional photography you're in. For instance, journalism. Journalism is a very self-righteous profession, and in journalism, what I find interesting about journalism, it's your job to present a story and not bias. And most people get that. Most journalists and journalistic outlets get that wrong. But speaking from the photography end, you're not allowed to change anything about a picture and present it as journalism. And I've seen so many instances of this where photographers has gotten in hot water. And I think if you follow Tony Northrup and that whole the picture of the Afghan girl, super famous picture, the girl with the green eyes, the story behind that is just heartbreaking. Super interesting as well. I know we're talking about post-production, but that's the type of integrity I think should have gone along with journalism that just was not presented. But going back to post-editing, you're not allowed to change anything. I think changing the colors and altering the mood, I think, is as far as you can go. But, you know, in terms of removing things and cleaning things up, I don't think you're allowed to do that. And the second piece that I think is super important to know about the idea of a holistic view of photography, film photographers have been editing images from the beginning of time. And they're just doing it in a way that I think is mind-boggling, but they were doing it with chemicals, and they were, you know, I think the most famous one that comes to mind was Ansel Adams, because there were a ton of copycats that went out there and tried to do what he did, but they couldn't, you know, it's sure they would come back with Ansel Adams-like compositions, but he was doing a lot of his work also in the darkroom, and he is who he is today because of it. So let's not get in this conversation that, oh, if you want to be a real photographer, you get it right in camera, you know, and you don't edit in post. I don't think that's true. With the exception of journalism, I think you are allowed to do some editing. And ultimately, what I don't know where this question is coming from, but ultimately what I would say, again, outside of journalism, as an artist, it is your creative freedom to do whatever the hell it is you want to do with that image, you know. And in today's world, you look on Instagram. I stepped away from Instagram. Oh man, has it been a year yet? I felt like it's been a year. I've been away from Instagram for so long, but you look on Instagram and you start to see these trends of, I don't know, teal and orange, or super glossy skin, or like all these things. This is creative freedom, right? And some of these do make it into the norms of how we perceive photography, and I think that's totally okay. But that decision's up to you. You know, you have to come up with a benchmark on what's something that's tasteful to you, or is too far, and why it's too far. And you got to put some thought behind those decisions as well, because if you don't, you know, moving those sliders will get you too far. Removing too much, smoothing out the skin too much will get you too far. So yeah, I think it's just a person to person, artist to artist type of decision to be made. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Hit the comment section below and let me know your take on this. You know, is it ethical to edit your images, and how and why and what scenarios? My name is Ramon. Thank you for tuning in. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I am out of here. Peace.